SCP-2265. Item number SCP-2265. Object Class Neutralized. Formerly Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. As of 24th of October 2011, SCP-2265 is considered neutralized. The former containment area of SCP-2265 has been deemed free of anomalous activity and has been approved to be renovated and sold to private investors by Simon Chesterson Properties, a foundation fund. Masahiro, Goto, and Verit, formerly SCP-2265-A and SCP-2265-B, are currently being held in the low-security humanoid containment wing of Site-68. Their possible release is being reviewed by the Ethics Committee. Description: SCP-2265 was a localized 2-hour time loop affecting the 20 square meter area of Mario's, a defunct Italian restaurant located in Redacted, California. SCP-2265 was impermeable and self-containing. No items could enter or exit the time loop, including SCP-2265-A and SCP-2265-B. SCP-2265-A and SCP-2265-B are Masahiro Goto and Verit, history professors at the University of Kyoto and the University of California, Redacted, respectively at the time SCP-2265 manifested. During the time period in which SCP-2265 was active, neither SCP-2265-A nor SCP-2265-B were observed to age through the iterations of the loop. Both SCP-2265-A and SCP-2265-B were unaware of any changes in the environment surrounding SCP-2265, perceiving it as being unchanged from its state at the beginning of the time loop. SCP-2265-A, its state at the beginning of the time loop, demonstrated an awareness of the time loop, its previous iterations, and its inability to exit it. SCP-2265-B did not. The dinner table that we're sitting at and the immediate area surrounding it became SCP-2265 on January 13, 1991, as Goto and Verit were eating dinner at Mario's. At the time, Professor Goto was visiting the United States to give a series of lectures. He and Professor Verit were eating out to discuss said lectures and Professor Goto's remaining plans for his time in the United States. After the anomalous effects of SCP-2265 were noted by employees of the restaurant, Foundation agents were dispatched and Class B amnestics were administered to all involved. Mario's was subsequently closed. SCP-2265-A and SCP-2265-B were reported as having died in a car crash. Addendum 2265. Cessation of anomalous activity. On October 24, 2011, SCP-2265 did not reset at the end of its normal loop, and both SCP-2265-A and SCP-2265-B immediately became aware of the surrounding environment. Shortly thereafter, SCP-2265-A began laughing and crying hysterically, and repeatedly hugged surrounding Foundation personnel. Both SCP-2265-A and SCP-2265-B were taken into custody, after the items inside the former SCP-2265 were removed. The containment area was subsequently abandoned. 1 week later, Masahiro Goto and Verit were declassified as SCP-2265-A and SCP-2265-B after tests revealed they retained no anomalous properties. Addendum 2265-2 Interview Log. This interview took place 4 days after SCP-2265-A's recovery from SCP-2265. SCP-2265-A is being questioned on its experiences inside SCP-2265. Good evening. SCP-2265-A. Ah, good evening, Doctor. Why are you still calling me that? It's a formality, I assure you. We must confirm you are no longer anomalous in any way. Anomalous? I suppose that's one way to describe it. Indeed. Based on our observations, we gathered that you were aware of SCP-2265 during your time in it, and yet your behavior became remarkably more subdued over the years. Care to explain that? Well, I did not feel that way at first, when I first realized what was going on. Unease, then panic as I realized we were trapped. I tried to scream to the people outside our area, but none noticed us. I did everything I could for a long time. Every time I told Andrew what was happening, he would confirm it, become alarmed, and forget. Lather, rinse, repeat, as you say. And after a bit of time, you gave up attempting to break the loop. What was the point? We were trapped there. Nothing I did could stop Andrew from forgetting after the 2 hours passed, or the process from repeating itself. It was a cruel thing. The universe did not care for my misery. What did you decide to do after that? Adapt. The human mind is an amazing thing. We can get used to almost anything at any given time. If the loop was going to trap me, then I may as well find a way to cope with it. How were your experiences after that? The first half hour was the hardest part. Eating the same damn meal over and over again drove me mad. And Andrew would always talk about his dissertation revisions and ask me about my itinerary for the rest of the week. Over and over and over. After that, however, I decided to use the opportunity the time loop gave me to better myself. How so? Professor Verit is a remarkably intelligent and thoughtful man. Those dinner conversations we had, the hundreds, thousands of them. I learned so much. We talked about poetry, literature, nature. Even as time kept resetting itself, I never ran out of things to ask him. I talked so much that I almost completely lost my accent, something that he began to pick up on. I was beginning to accept my fate. If this were the afterlife, then I suppose there were worse fates to be given. Then the loop stopped, all at once, and here we are. We did everything we could to free you from there, you know. We would have done so sooner if... Oh, I know, Doctor. But to be frank, I do not regret it. Really? Yes. I had no wife or children before I became trapped, and my partners were long dead. I was alone, still searching for life's answers despite devoting my life to answering questions of the past. Those 2 decades I was in the room changed me. I feel much more whole, so to speak. Everything feels different to me now, as if I can appreciate things better. The time with Andrew, well, it made me who I am now. I do not wish to be back there again, but were I given the opportunity to erase the last 20 years, I do not know if I would. Thank you, SCP-2265-A. That will be all. End of interview log.